Uh, Good morning. I am Dina Garvin Smart. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Payentry. Welcome to today's webinar entitled Beyond Payroll, Exploring Our Full Suite of Business Solutions. It is my pleasure to introduce our panelists to you today. Presenting first is Brett Strauss, Esquire. Brett is an attorney and our Vice President of Human Resources. Stephanie DePaco is our Vice President of Insurance Services, and Mike Medor is our Vice President of Corporate Development and oversees our Retirement Plan Services Division. I look forward to each of their presentations, as I'm sure you do as well. And without any further ado, I thank you again, and I'll turn the meeting over to Brett. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Depending on where you are located geographically. I just wanted to chime in real quick with a disclaimer that Payentry is not a law firm. Presentation today is intended for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon in reaching a conclusion in a particular area of law. Applicability of the legal principles that we will discuss almost always will differ depending on where you are geographically, how many employees you have. Sometimes they're even industry specific. So please just keep that in mind. Although we're talking about HR services, we do not enter into any type of attorney-client relationship with any of the services that we provide. Jumping in now to our HR services. The HR services that we offer are designed for every stage of your business. Our goal as a team is to help you and your business enhance the HR practices, streamline all of the processes, and create a more productive and engaged workforce. There's two things to kind of keep in mind. Number one, proactive compliance is always going to be the recommendation, right? If you can sit down right now and we can talk through all of these things and we can spend some time figuring out what you have, what you might not have, and we can build a proactive game plan to move forward into next year, that's always going to be the least expensive option, right? Versus kind of piecemealing it together and reacting to situations as they arise, right? If there's an issue in your workplace, it's kind of too late. You already have a problem. Something's already on fire. We can certainly step in and help you clean up the mess and put controls in place so that it doesn't happen again. But we already have to deal with that unfortunate situation. Okay. The second thing to kind of consider is when we talk about HR services, everything that we are putting together now is there's a kind of a two-pronged approach, right? We have the legal compliance based on where you are, which state, what the laws might be in your state, and of course federal law. Our guarantee is that there are not going to be any legal issues that you have, underneath your roof moving forward. That's the easy part. Okay. The second part then is taking these policies and procedures that we draft and educating the supervisors, managers, and the entire team so that we're taking care of the soft skill HR, the human side of things, right? Do the employees that you have actually enjoy coming to work, right? Is there a healthy dialogue between supervisor and employee, so that we spend all this time putting these things together. People are actually using it, and we're able to achieve all of the goals that we have set forth for each other. So it's important. We have the access to all of the resources, and myself as well as our team of HR experts as part of the services that we offer to be able to come in and build that framework and then allow you to reach out. Hey Brett, I know we talked about this policy or this particular issue. I need some help. Can you jump on the phone with me this afternoon and walk me through some of these issues, right? I understand that every situation is unique, right? And I think that's one of the differences between the services that we offer and the services that some of our competitors offer, right? There's no bundle, there's no package to where you just get all these things and you can go figure them all out. It's very important to me that we take the time to go through each situation, slowly, and understand exactly the dynamics, what's going on, how did it happen, who are the parties that are involved, what type of business do you have, and then we can customize, some of these solutions so that that it's tailored to exactly what it is that you need, and it's going to help your business continue to grow. Yeah, we're here to help, right? My commitment to our clients here at Payentry is I would love to jump on the phone with you for 15 minutes, have a conversation, ask some questions about what it is that you have currently, what you might need. As you saw on the previous slide, there's also a technology component, right? Sure, there's an advisory piece to where we can talk together and try to work through issues. But there are also a lot of great technologies that we have here, pieces of software at Payentry that not a lot of our clients are utilizing, right? So during this audit, during this analysis, we might uncover that, hey, you know what? Performance reviews. Well, hey, Brett, we want to try to implement performance reviews, but we haven't really been consistent. It's kind of hit or miss. It's a big pain for the managers to stop what they're doing and put everything together. Yeah, not only can we draft all the documents and create a program for you, but now there's also a software that will help you manage this that we have to offer, right? That can then notify all the managers that it's time to implement the review. It can send the reviews to the employees electronically, and they can kind of communicate back and forth if you might have a virtual um, set up right now. So there's a lot of things that we can do to be able to help you. Now we're just a week away from Thanksgiving. Employee handbooks, right? Now's the time. We've been getting a lot of calls and emails recently. Hey, I need some help getting everything ready for January 2025. I know out here in California there are a lot of changes that need to be incorporated, as there are in other states. That's something that we can absolutely help with, right? If it's been a while since you've had your employee handbook updated, we would be glad to take a look at it, either make the adjustments or just completely start from scratch and help you rebuild, so that you can rest assured that you've got everything that you need moving into January to be 100% compliant. Um, Employee communications, that's another thing too. Is in a remote work environment, a lot of our clients are struggling because we used to have an office and we used to be able to go over to Mike and Stephanie and talk to them face to face and be able to talk through, work through issues. And we kind of lose that personal touch. So there are tools that we can put in place to be able to help the employees. Okay, give them an outlet. Some of our clients want to have employees reach out to the HR team, as like a confidential third party and a complaint procedure. There are a lot of different ways that we can support you to be able to get you, that level of service and the attention to detail so that your employees feel comfortable with sharing issues that they might be facing. And they're not just internalizing all of that and then end up just, quitting because they didn't really feel a connection and they didn't really ever get a chance to talk to their manager. So they're going to go look for something else. We have 3 different service levels mainly to choose from, and I wanted to touch on those just briefly before I introduce you to Stephanie. HR compliance is a reactive consulting service. It is a tremendous dashboard that is connected in with your payroll dashboard. And it has absolutely everything that you might possibly need to be able to successfully run a business, regardless of what state that you're in. Okay, I use it almost every day here at Payentry to be able to help our managers and help our employees. But it's designed for those businesses that have maybe HR professionals on staff, right? If you have Brett on your team and he's the HR manager, but maybe he's wearing a few other hats, but he's been doing this a long time and he can absolutely maneuver through this and he knows how to put together the policies and procedures. This HR compliance dashboard is tremendous. Absolutely. The next level is called HR Prime. It's a little bit more proactive, right? A lot of our clients that use this don't necessarily have an HR professional on their team. This level of service would start off with an audit. We would spend between 2 and 3 hours together via Zoom or Teams at your convenience. And I would ask you, a whole host of questions from the very beginning. How are you identifying candidates? How do you bring them on board? What's the review process? How did you develop your compensation structure? what type of benefits that you offer. And we work with, Mike and Stephanie here on the call to be able to customize a solution for you and really help you, manage your HR department. So more of like think of it like a virtual HR department. There's some technology involved, but it's best suited for those companies that are still growing, but don't necessarily have a full-time HR person on staff. And lastly, HR Premier is a full service solution that includes the payroll, timekeeping. It also would include the 401k and your health insurance benefits. Mike and Stephanie here on this call. Think of this solution as if you had our clients that use this. Most commonly are, hey, I had a payroll manager here. That person, either quit, was terminated, retired, and I'm trying to find the right fit, but I can't. Okay, it might cost me $90,000 to go out, plus payroll tax, plus insurance and everything, to go find a replacement. What about outsourcing it to you, Payentry, for maybe half the cost? Right, and you have a virtual team of three professionals that you see in front of you on this call, plus the teams that report to us, digging in on a day-to-day basis, helping manage through the timesheets, the payroll, the insurance, the retirement, and kind of walking through everything and keeping that automated for you so that you don't have to worry about going out to recruit and maybe overpaying for somebody to come in and fill that role. Please, reach out and schedule a review and a consultation. I'd love to be able to set up that 15-minute meeting, just hear from you. What is it that you have right now? What might you be looking for? What kind of keeps you up at night? And we can go through these things and be able to customize a solution so that we can kind of plug any holes that might be there in your foundation and allow you to do what it is that you do best, selling and creating and continuing to grow your business. Again, here's my email address, hrservices@Payentry. Thank you again for joining us on this Tuesday morning, afternoon. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Stephanie so she can talk about our insurance services.
Thank you, Brett. Good morning, everybody. My name is Stephanie DePaco. I am the VP of Insurances here at Payentry. I've been working with the insurance in the insurance and payroll industry for about 25 years now, and I've had the pleasure of being with Payentry for going on 6 years. So my department specializes in group insurance. Some examples of the products that we offer are group health insurance, dental and vision, group life and AD&D, short-term and long-term disability insurance, and also workplace benefits. Examples of those are critical illness, accident insurance, and hospital indemnity. So why would you use Payentry Insurance Services? Outside of having a truly amazing team who prides themselves in customer service, no matter how large or small our clients are, we do have one single point of contact. So we're a small team and work together to service our clients. We have real-time access to employee data. So if you need a census, we can extract information easily from our systems. We manage all enrollment changes for our clients. So we're a full service brokerage firm, whether you have new hires, terminations, or employees that even have qualified events. This is all managed by our team and in our platform. Connectivity with payroll, again, deductions and changes are all managed within our systems. And we also have EDI capability, which is a direct file feed to the carrier. This depends on group size, but makes management very easy for us and the administrator. And we also host annual open enrollment meetings with their employees and assist in managing claims. We're licensed in the below states and can assist anyone with opportunities if your business address is listed in any of these states on the slide shown here. All right, so group insurance. What are the major qualifications for a group to be able to offer insurance? Again, we must have license in the state where the corporate address is registered for our clients. A group must have at least two full-time W-2 employees who are not related If you're an owner and not on payroll, this is also no problem. An active owner in the business can also count as one employee. If you're a brand new group, just starting up, you just have to be in business for at least 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the carrier underwriting rules. We would have all your payroll records, so we'd be able to supply those to a carrier and make it easy for you. If anyone has any questions on group insurance, my contact information will be listed on the slides at the end of this presentation. So I'm going to segue into our benefit enrollment platform, Employee Navigator, which is our benefit enrollment platform of choice. With Employee Navigator, we actually have 2 different models. One is the integration only model. So if you do already have Employee Navigator and are using it through a broker or a third party, we can definitely set up demographic information and deductions to be integrated with our payroll. So this will eliminate administrative redundancies and having to enter information in 2 different systems. The process is pretty simple. It's just a few steps. You would have your broker initiate an integration request with us under Payentry. We would ask you to fill out a form and submit it to us, so that would start the process going on the payroll side. And then Employee Navigator will work with you, your broker, and us to match all of your data between the 2 systems to go live. We do also offer Employee Navigator to our clients. So if you don't currently have a benefit enrollment tool or your broker doesn't offer it, we definitely can assist. With this model, we supply the software for you. We train the administrators on how to use it. We assist with the setup of your plans and also assist with the annual renewals when it comes time. Again, the data is integrated with your payroll platform, so dual entry into 2 different systems is not needed and will eliminate you having to enter records into 2 different softwares. Here's a quick example of what the login page looks like. Employee Navigator has a mobile app as well. Single sign-on is not yet available, but this is coming down the development pipeline very, very soon. I also want to point out that we don't have to be your broker to offer this system to you. If you do have, again, a broker who's using it, we can integrate our payroll with it. Or if we are your broker, this would be our system of choice. Here's another example of the client login page where the system shows real-time dashboards, any administrative alerts in case there's data that might have come over from Payentry that's missing. You can list upcoming holidays, anniversaries, birthdays, and all that good stuff. Here's my contact information. Also my team. If you have any questions on insurance or Employee Navigator integration or setup, please contact me at stepaco@payentry.com. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike Metter now, who is our VP of Corporate Development, and he's going to go over our retirement plans.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. I want to run through some of the programs that we offer and bring you up to date on a couple of new programs that have come around over the last year or so. We offer 401k plans, traditional plans, safe harbor 401k plans, and simple IRA plans. Traditional plans are simply those that where employers can determine whether or not they want to participate in a match for the employees or not. They're not required to, but have the ability to do so. Safe harbor plans do require a match, and by requiring a match, it allows the owners and highly paid employees to contribute maximum amounts to the plan. Simple IRA plans are very easy to establish, probably one of the most overlooked programs that are available. They are exactly what they say. They're simple. They don't require tax returns. They don't require IRS documents. They don't require testing at year end. Very, very easy to run and very effective, I think, for the right company. Simple or 401k, there are some differences in the 2 plans. Not everyone is an ideal candidate for the simple plan, but many are. The simple plan has a few restrictions as to how much money you can contribute versus the 401k. And of course, the 401k plan is more expensive to administer. But it's a good idea to look at the two to see which best suits your organization. As I mentioned earlier, there are a little different restrictions on how much money you can put in these two plans. The simple IRA plan allows you to put $17,000 a year in, or if you're over age 50, $20,500. By contrast, a 401k plan would allow a maximum contribution of $23,500 or $31,000 if you're age 50 or over. So obviously, for companies looking to maximize the contribution, the 401k is better served. States are now requiring that companies have some form of retirement plan. It can be a 401k, or it can be set up through a state mandated plan. All states that are requiring mandatory plans now offer a state plan where you can enroll in that plan and satisfy the requirements of offering your employees a plan. There's a few problems with state mandated plans in that the administration is somewhat cumbersome. Employees can only contribute $7,000 or $8,000 if they're over 50, and no match is allowed. So it's just an employee deduction IRA program, and the fees on the investment options are generally somewhat high, normally around 100 basis points or 1%. And all contributions have to be Roth. You can't make a pre-tax contribution in a state mandated plan. So we'll talk in a minute about the options to the state mandated plans and how it might make sense to utilize a simpler 401k plan given the new tax benefits that are available. I did want to mention, though, about retirement plan fees. This is really one of the most misunderstood areas of retirement plans, and what are you actually paying in fees? How much is coming out of your investment options? What are your fee levels? I have found over many, many years, very few people know, and very few employers know exactly what their fees are. As an example, and while the fees are so important, this is just a short example of an individual 45 years old who has $100,000 in their account, and they contribute $10,000 a year, and the employer matches $3,000. At 65, the employee would have the following amounts in their account, assuming a 7% return on their money. If the fees in the plan were 1.25%, which we see very often or more, the value would be $771,000. However, if fees were only 0.25 or 1/4%, the value at the end of those 20 years would be $887,000. So you can see that just by managing fees, you could produce, in this particular example, an additional $116,000. So it's just knowing what your fees are, keeping fees at a very minimum. We work very, very hard to keep fees at an absolute minimum in our plans. I want to speak for a second about the Secure Act of 2022. This is relative to companies who have not had a retirement plan in the past and have not sponsored a program. The government is working hard to try to encourage small businesses to offer plans. In the past, small businesses have been reluctant to offer retirement 401k plans because of the administrative burden and the cost. And so where we find ourselves is about half of the people working in the country don't even have access to a plan. So Congress has taken upon themselves through the Secure Act 2 to make it very attractive to set up a plan and pay for almost all of the cost in the initial years through 100% federal tax credits. Simply put, the Secure Act says that if you set up a retirement plan, the setup cost and the ongoing administration cost, you'll get 100% federal tax credit for the first 3 years. You also get an, excuse me, an additional $500 tax credit for 3 years if you have auto enroll. Auto enroll just says when an employee becomes eligible, they're automatically enrolled in the plan. The employee can opt out of that, but if you have that feature, you get the additional $500 tax credit for 3 years, in addition to the ongoing setup and annual administration cost. One of the great features of this program is the federal tax credit for matching contributions. The Secure Act 2 says that if you match up to $1,000 per employee, you'll get 100% federal tax credit on that for the first 2 years, and then it scales down years 3, 4, and 5. So if you think about this, all your setup, administrative, ongoing costs, plus your match costs for the first 2 years can be, you can receive 100% tax credit, which zeroes your cost out. The employer contribution tax credit scales down, as I mentioned earlier. Again, under this program, you can either have a simple IRA plan or a 401k plan, whatever is appropriate for you qualifies under the Secure Act 2. Okay, this is just a quick chart I wanted to run through to show you what the effect would be for a company, a 10-employee company who adopts a 401k plan under the Secure Act. If you look at the column 2 there under fees, you'll see those are the administrative fees. The employer, if they put $1,000 in for each employee, that would be $10,000. The tax credits, however, would be $12,500, which means that you would get an additional, in addition to all of the cost involved, you would get an additional $500 federal tax credit for those first couple years. As the $1,000 contribution credit scales down, years 3, 4, and 5, you'll see that your net cost increases a little bit as you go. But this is a fabulous program. The government has never offered a program that allows you to have all of your setup ongoing costs paid, plus contributions to your employees refunded through the federal tax credit. So if you do not have a plan, this is a great option to look at. This just the second slide is just like the one we just looked at. It just shows though how using a simple plan. If you look under the fee column, you'll see that the fees in simple plans are much less expensive, as we've talked about earlier, than in a 401k plan. So in this case, you can see the same numbers all the way out to the net cost. You can have the plan, have the administrative costs covered, the $1,000 per employee covered, and you actually make money the first couple years, and then it scales up a little bit as time goes on. But a great program, and if you need information on this, we have plenty of it, and certainly let us know. Okay, here's our contacts. Caitlin Smith and myself, we're registered investment advisors. Our retirement assistant is Dana Mercurio. Certainly reach out to us with any questions that you have. So let me just wrap up in saying that I think it's a good idea to evaluate, if you have a plan, to evaluate whether a simple or a 401k is most appropriate for you. Also fees, if you do not understand or do not fully know what your fees are, we have a very detailed fee analysis program that we can run for you that will show you the difference or what is available versus what you may have. Also, if you're required under the state mandated program to have a plan, or if you have a plan in the state mandated program, you can come out of that plan and take advantage of the Secure Act 2 tax credits, and which I think would make a lot of sense rather than staying in a state mandated plan where you cannot put any money in on the employer can make no contribution.
Please know that we are always available to answer your questions.